On the eve of what is likely to be the most disastrous budget in British history, a budget that will reduce people to poverty, induce people to leave the country, stop growth, what little growth is left after the first budget in its tracks, but most of all, one that hides the biggest crime against the taxpayer and the electorate in British history, and that is HS2. Let's be quite clear of this. HS2, since 2013, has been a demonstrable Ponzi scheme. First of all, there was no national network possible, and that's now a fact. So all we're left with is a branch line from outside London to outside Birmingham. So any claims on speed have been thrown out the window and demonstrably are not true. Because by the time you transfer, if there is the capacity to transfer from Old Oak Common to the other, to Elizabeth Line and the Tube Line, you will have wasted so much time that you will have gained no time. The capacity argument is equally bogus. HS2 has never, ever produced an income and expenditure account. In other words, we don't know what it will cost to travel on this useless line, and we don't know what government subsidies will be involved. Now, conventionally, the running costs of the railway represent 80% of the total costs, i.e. construction only represents 20%. On that basis, it's unaffordable. It's unaffordable to the traveller who won't pay any sort of premium, and the government cannot afford that level of subsidies. So what is Mark Wilde doing? Mark Wilde is covering up the fraud of the past, which makes him a criminal, and he is doing that to enable the fraud to continue. And the Labour Party has supported that in opposition and is now supporting it. Heidi Alexander, Rachel Reeves, Keir Starmer, all know the facts, but it is not politically expedient to reveal them. So the taxpayer is going to be milked for 25 billion in this parliament on top of the 35 or 40 billion already spent to continue a useless project. All the claims on delivery are untrue. This line, if it is ever finished, which is highly unlikely, and I'm only referring to the branch line, nothing else. If it's delivered, it will be delivered in the 40s. And if it's delivered, the capital cost will be well in excess of 300 billion. They are lying to you. And the big question is, why have they continued it? Why are they continuing it now? Why are every figure announced by every minister and every director of HS2 proved to be untrue? And the answer is obvious. Someone or some people had interests in this patently useless project being continued. Now, the police force, we have a bent commissioner of police who refused even to investigate. And the same applies to Lisa Ostrovsky at the Serious Fraud Office. They wouldn't investigate the largest fraud in the country. They talk about every other crime, which they're equally incompetent on, but this one they won't touch with a barge pole because it involves ministers, senior civil servants, and parliamentarians. And they are all getting away with it. Now, when you come to the reporting on this, there is equally a major problem. This HS2 has proved that the BBC in general and Panorama, Elizabeth Bowden in particular, are institutionally corrupt. They knew they were given the facts in the form of a 80-page report costing £100,000, which proved that the government, the Tory government, the Labour opposition, the Labour government knew that this HS2 was a useless project since 2013, And all the reports, like the David Higgins report in 14, were fraudulent, were lies. And the facts have proved that. We said in 2018 on Panorama, which at least presented half the case, which showed that the chief executive, Mark Blaston, was lying out of his teeth. And Lord Hendy was involved, and the permanent secretary, who's been allowed to retire with all her benefits, who lied and lied to Parliament and who covered up this fraud. What is this fraud? Who's got an interest in this? The supply chain, and the supply chain, in all probability, is taking care of the people who make the decisions. These are the facts. These are the facts behind the punitive taxation that this incompetent Rachel Reeves is going to launch tomorrow on us. And it's about time that MPs in general took their responsibility to their electorate as a priority rather than their promotional prospects within the party.